Then there was a negative press perception in the media because the company had overpromised and underdelivered before, which is something you should not do. So we stopped to talk about big ideas for the future. We stopped to talk about the past. We were talking about the products and the substance and technology. And finally, we were able to announce our merger agreement some weeks ago. And we are moving forward now fast to close this deal. And we will get more than $1 billion of cash out of this deal. So in the near term, we have a product, FF91, which is a top luxury product. It will redefine the top luxury segment of cars with electric and connected cars. So it competes with Maybach, Rolls-Royce, and Bentley. And we will launch this within 12 months after we close our deal here. It will be built in California, so we run our own production facility in Hanford and in California. Many people will talk about it, many people will desire it. Almost no one can afford it because it starts in a very high price position, but it will set the brand. You have what we call zero gravity seats, so it's like a first class experience, like an experience in a first class of a great airline.
I actually had a ride in the Faraday, and I was blown away by the seats. Mm-hmm. For me, the big experience was if I was a rich guy, this is what I'd want. Sitting in the seats, looking out, the panoramic roof, and the windows along the side, there's very, very little that obscures your view. This is the absolute best touring car that I've ever seen.
So we use the same cells like Tesla is using, 21700 cylindricals, but we submerge these cells into a cooling liquid, which allows us to create a very, very high level of energy density. It's the highest level of energy density you can get. The other thing you get is that the cooling is very, very efficient. So if you combine two of these engines in the rear axle, you can drive your wheels independently, left side and right side. There's no differential between it. And this means you can implement functions like torque vectoring, which means you can put more torque to the outside wheel than to the inside wheel, which makes the car turn very, very fast and gives a very agile feeling. So we designed a gateway module with 3 modems in it, and we can run 3 different providers at the same time in this modem, and then blend the signal over. In the FF91, we are offering 400 miles of range. So what I foresee is that this race for range will come to an end sometime. I don't foresee that there's really a need for 600 or 700 miles of range. Now, when it comes to the next step, the real level 4 or maybe sometimes level 5 autonomy, and things are very different from my view. Because what I expect to happen that this will become a certain kind of commodity. Because it will be a highly regulated technology. It does not make sense for a car company or for a company like us to really develop the software stack for this technology. Then I was responsible for the BMW i8 program, which was a very amazing program, I have to say. It was not only about technology and products, it was about understanding what's going to happen in the future of this industry. And it was something where no one believed at the beginning that this really can be done and can be successful. But at the end of the day, it resulted in a very successful product. Then I left BMW. I co-founded my own electric car company, Byton, out of China, because I felt that the step forward into the future and really change things and make new technology, new products, and new business models happen might be easier if you start from scratch. I ran this company for 3 years as CEO and chairman. Then it got a little bit into these trade frictions between the US and China 1.5 years ago or 2 years ago. And then I eventually decided to join Faraday Future. And I'm personally very passionate about technology. We are developing leading technology at Faraday for propulsion systems and for what we call smart device on wheels, so the smart part of a car, screens, in-car communication.
There's been a lot of press, obviously, about Faraday. Some of it was positive, but a lot of it wasn't. And I think since you're coming on board, things have turned around a bit. And I was wondering if maybe you could give us a little insight as to what you did and how you've changed things over at Faraday.
Yes. So when I joined Faraday 18 months ago, the company had a big vision, and it's a very compelling vision, really understanding where the future will be. But what was missing is breaking down this vision into smaller steps which really can be executed. Having a product in the market, selling it, bring it to your customers, build market share, build a brand. So what we did after I joined is we rebuilt the management team. We brought some people, some top leaders in from the industry who executed before, who have a proven track record, people who are experienced enough and passionate enough to really make things happen and bring the first product into production. Then there was a negative press perception in the media because the company had overpromised and underdelivered before, which is something you should not do. So we stopped to talk about big ideas for the future. We stopped to talk about the past. We were talking about the products and the substance and technology. And this turned around the perception. Then there were some governance issues of the company we had to fix. So we rebuilt the governance of the company, more being compliant with Western-style managed companies. So we put everything in place, and then we have been a little bit lucky, I have to say, that Nikola, with their SPAC transaction, got so popular and successful. So the whole SPAC market became very hot. Companies approached us. We found with PSEC a very strong partner. And finally, we were able to announce our merger agreement some weeks ago. And we are moving forward now fast to close this deal. And we will get more than $1 billion of cash out of this deal.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool. So, what is the vision then? Your vision then for how you're going to proceed? I know you've got about 300 people right now, which is okay for right now. But what's the next steps, as it were?
So in the near term, we have a product, FF91, which is a top luxury product. It will redefine the top luxury segment of cars with electric and connected cars. So it competes with Maybach, Rolls-Royce, and Bentley in a segment where it will be a real USP. There is no other electric or connected car around in this segment. It's pre-production status right now. It's more than 90% of the tools are ready, and we will launch this within 12 months after we close our deal here. It will be built in California, so we run our own production facility in Hanford and in California, and we will deliver it from here into the U.S. market and all over the world. Now, the strategy is this is a top luxury product. It's a halo product. It's shining. Many people will talk about it. Many people will desire it. Almost no one can afford it because it starts in a very high price position. But it will set the brand. It will define the brand. And Faraday is about great design. It's about leading driving experience. So this car has 1,050 horsepower. It goes from 0 to 60 miles in 2.39 seconds, which is really very fast. But on the other hand, and this makes a difference, it creates an in-car experience for passengers. Like you feel like you sit in a smart device on wheels. So you have high-speed internet connectivity. You have screens. There's a big 27-inch display in the rear. You have the biggest leg room in the rear. It's 49 inch. You have what we call zero gravity seats. So it's like a first class experience, like an experience in a first class of a great airline. So you can incline this seat. You can sleep if you want, and this will completely redesign user experience. And then we go down into lower market segments. So the next car, it's called FF81. Will be in an area where Tesla Model X and S are playing today. And there's a third car in our business plan, FF71, which then will go into the real volume segment starting around $45,000.
Mm-hmm. And when do you expect it to hit the marketplace? I know there's been a lot of expectation. When do you think your first shipments might be?
So our commitment is we are going to launch FF91 within 12 months after our deal closes now, which would be end of Q1 in 2022. And then the next product will go to market 18 months later.
Excellent. Well, I should say that I actually had a ride in the the Faraday, and I was blown away by the seats. For me, the big experience was if I was a rich guy, this is what I'd want. I mean, the car is going to be self-driving eventually, and yelling or talking quietly or whatever to the computer and saying, "Okay, I want to see how fast this will go," that kind of thing. That to me strikes. And while I'm leaning back, having a martini or something, I mean, it just to me everything about that car screams that the guys that are going to be in their 60s or 70s and really want to experience everything, but not really interested in trying to take a chance, because really as you get older your reflexes go down. You don't want to die. So to me everything about that car said that if you've got the cash, this is the one you want to go and put in a bid on or get something going on. So can you tell us a little bit about how that's going? Like, what are your pre-orders and things like that?
Yeah, so our intention is we want to redefine what premium and luxury really means. And this is, it's about driving experience. People will still drive, yeah? But the other thing is that every single place in the car, every single seat offers a great experience. And coming back to your example, the good thing is you will be able to decide. You can sit on the driver's seat and you can experience 2.39 seconds from 0 to 60. But if you do not want it, then your son or whoever can drive you and the computer one day, and you can go to the back seats and you can lay down and you can work if you want. You can enjoy a movie. So this will be a complete redesign and redefinition what luxury means. And we have different markets in the world. We have China, and China is the biggest EV market and will continue to be. And as you know, many people in China have drivers, so they sit in the rear. But even here, your children will like it, and you will like it, because you can choose whatever the right place in the car is for you. And if you think about the next product, this will be top luxury, and not many people will afford it. But if you think about the next product, the FF8 one, it will set the same experience, just in a different market segment. It will be, of course, not as luxury as the FF91, but it will still be way better than the competitors when it comes to design, when it comes to driving experience, and for sure when it comes to in-car user experience on the passenger seats.
Well, I can tell you for sure that the inside of the vehicle is spectacular. I absolutely love opera doors. I've always felt that the right thing to do is to get into a car head first instead of butt first. And that extra leg room plus the doors opening opera style or French door style, to me, everything about it seems to scream luxury. This, to me, is what a luxury car should look like. The big thing that I noticed, though, was sitting in the seats, looking out, the panoramic roof, and the windows along the side. There's very, very little that obscures your view. This is the absolute best touring car that I've ever seen. I was very, very impressed.
Thanks for saying that. Maybe, but I should add here, it gives a little bit of insight how we think. We don't call this the interior of our car. We call this place third internet living space. That's a big word. But if you look at, if you analyze the components, it's the third internet space, because you are used to have smart devices around you at your home and at your office. The only time where you don't have it is all the hours you spend in this car commuting. I don't know how this is in Detroit here, but in Los Angeles, if I go from my office to downtown and back, it's 3 hours. And most of the time I'm stuck in traffic. And how great is it if I can make use of this time by doing video conferences, by work, or just by relaxing? So this is third internet. And then it's living space. Yeah? And living space means you have to create a unique customer experience. And all the things you said, light, materials, sensation of premium if you touch your environment. This all contributes to this living experience.
We're moving back in time to an age of elegance with that car. Yes. I'm very, very impressed. And I've seen nothing like it. Zero. Yeah. So I was very impressed.
It's a perfect summary what you are giving. Yeah. So to some degree we are moving back to this kind of luxury and elegance and living style. On the other hand, we combine it with the future. Yeah. It is electric, it's sustainable, it's connected, and this is what will redefine the segment. What will redefine what premium and luxury really means.
So why don't we talk a little bit about the technology that gives you this new experience? How much are you developing, and what maybe you could talk a little bit about, because most of our listeners are technology focused. So maybe you could talk about the battery system that you have, which is different than everybody else's. A little bit about OTA and that sort of thing.
So it's we at Faraday think if you want to become the leader from a product perspective, if you want to redefine market segments and set standards, then you have to own technology. You have to be technology leader. And so we divide our technology portfolio into two big groups. One is which satisfies the driver, which is the propulsion system. And as you said, this is all about its battery technology, its inverters, its electric motors. And the powertrain technology we developed at Faraday, and it's proprietary and protected by patents, is the most advanced you will find in the industry. This was validated by independent partners. We had Roland Berger coming in just to have an independent assessment on it. So the battery technology is really, it's a fascinating design. What we do is we have a submerged liquid cell cooling approach. So we use the same cells like Tesla is using, 21700 cylindricals, but we submerge these cells into a cooling liquid. So there's no mechanical elements like other companies have around, which allows us to create a very, very high level of energy density. It's the highest level of energy density you can get. You pack the cells very compact. The other thing you get is that the cooling is very, very efficient. So it's basically like if you would jump on a 100 degrees day in a pool of 70 degrees, you will cool down very fast. And this has happened to our cells as well. And this allows us to put energy in and out very fast. So we can charge extremely fast and we can build high performance powertrains on it. This whole technology is developed at Faraday. It's patented and proprietary. Then we have an electric drive unit, which is the electric engine integrated with a small transmission, which is the most compact one you found in the industry. It's highly modular. It has 350 horsepower each. And the interesting thing is you can combine two of these units into 700 or three of them into 1050 horsepower. And you can do nice things. And I have to tell you this here because I'm fascinated about this technology. If you combine two of these engines in the rear axle, you can drive your wheels independently, left side and right side. Right? There's no differential between it. And this means you can implement functions like torque vectoring, which means you can put more torque to the outside wheel than to the inside wheel, which makes the car turn very, very fast and gives a very agile feeling. When I was at BMW, we had this functionality in a BMW X6, but as a mechanical system. So this mechanical system was, of course, very heavy, very expensive, and it was an art of engineering to make this happen. Now, when we move into electric powertrains, we get this functionality for free. We can save all the components, all the weight, all the cost, and get this for free. It's just software, and this is fascinating and shows a little bit the potential of the future.
Yeah. But then, also in your batteries, you have something more like a Lego strategy where you can basically snap together and get an extra 20 kilowatts or something like that out of each one. That to me was very, very interesting.
This is the second unique concept of this battery. So besides the cooling technology, it's modular, but modular in a way that you can add and remove modules. We call them strings out of the battery to change the battery size, without any new validation or cost. So the way it works is the battery consists of strings, and every string is a battery by its own. So it's 22 kilowatt hours, and all these strings have the same voltage level, and they are all connected in parallel. This means you can add and remove strings, and you can do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different battery sizes. You don't have to touch the BMS, you don't have to touch the cooling system. So coming up with different battery configurations is fast and very cheap. If other battery designs you find in the market today, if they want to change from 90 to 75 or from 90 to 120 kilowatt hours, they will have to do a complete redesign of the battery, including all the validation with prototype phases, which costs money and takes a lot of time.
Mm-hmm. So I think that the other thing that I'm kind of very curious about is your strategy for the other half of the product. So a lot of what we're talking about will be, in my mind, the mechanical part, yes. So suspensions and things like that. But then you've got the OTA part. Yes. So maybe you could elaborate a little bit on the strategy that you have there.
Yeah, so this is the second part of the technology portfolio. This is all what is connectivity modules, it's in-car communication, it's screens, and it's software. Yeah? The car runs an operating system. We developed an own operating system. This operating system allows multiple users to log in. And it based on this operating system, we provide your whole digital ecosystem you're used to. So it's a seamless integration. You can start your Netflix movie if you want at home. You enter your car and you continue to watch it at the same place, at same location where you stopped at home. And there's a lot of details behind it. For example, to connect the car to the internet, you use a little box. It's called a gateway module. And this, and most of the cars having something like this today, most of the cars are using a single modem. If you use a single modem and one provider, at least where I'm living in California, you lose connectivity many times one. So we designed a gateway module with 3 modems in it, and we can run 3 different providers at the same time in this modem, and then blend the signal over. It's all patented. It's sophisticated software technology. So we will be able to assure at every point of time a very stable and high quality network connection, because we will always use the provider who has the strongest signal. It's just a simple example. Huh? And then, of course, a strong over-the-air update technology. This is about what you need, because the concept of the product is very different from a traditional car. And a traditional car would have hardware and software creating a package of functionality, launch this functionality, and then you will sell it for 7 years. In our case, it's more like in a smartphone or a smart device. So we sell a piece of hardware, but the functionality grows over time. So we will continuously send software updates like Apple and every other company is doing, and people are going to look forward for it because they get new functionalities. The product is improving over time, which is a different customer experience. It will always be modern and up to date. On the other hand, it needs a very different culture and organization and working style to make this happen. So to that extent, we are more a technology and software company than a car company.
So maybe we could talk a little bit about what's the range and some of the more basic kinds of things that are going on with the Faraday.
So in the FF91, we are offering 400 miles of range. And this, for my experience, is more than enough for almost everyone in the world. The good thing is this 400 miles of range are available under real user conditions. So some of you might have seen, I drove such a car, a pre-production car last year in January 2020 from Los Angeles to Las Vegas to join CES. We did it with a single charge out of Los Angeles. It was 270 miles drive, if I remember right, and we arrived with 110 miles left. And whoever did it know there are some steep grades going up to it. Yeah. So it has it under real user conditions. So what I foresee is that this race for range will come to an end sometime. I don't foresee that there's really a need for 600 or 700 miles of range. Once you have battery technology and charging infrastructure, which makes it possible to charge fast. And the improvement in battery technology, which is coming maybe soon, will lead to smaller batteries, to lighter batteries, and it will help to save cost and make the products more affordable.
I think maybe we could move into self-driving. Mm-hmm. Where are you with respect to that? I was very, very impressed with what Tesla had, and I know you're developing your own. Maybe you could elaborate a bit.
So my view on self-driving is that we have to be careful and a little bit conservative. And I divide the world in driver assistance systems, which is what we have right now, and then in real autonomous driving maybe in the future. We are going to launch FF91 with a system which is close to a level 3 system. It's let's call it 2+. It has level 3 functionality. You will have self-parking, you will have highway assistant, all these things. And this supports the driver a lot. But it's very important to communicate that this is not autonomous driving. It is not, and it can be dangerous for people to rely completely of it. Yeah? This is why we require people to touch the steering wheel sometimes and to pay attention. It is a system. This is developed by ourselves. We have we have partnerships with NVIDIA, and I think we have very compelling and competitive functionality. Now, when it comes to the next step, the real level 4 or maybe sometimes level 5 autonomy, and things are very different from my view. Because what I expect to happen that this will become a certain kind of commodity because it will be a highly regulated technology. For me, it does not make sense for a car company or for a company like us to really develop the software stack for this technology, because there are companies out who are doing it. And this is many years. It is billions of dollars. It's millions and tens of millions of kilometers you have to do. And it will be so highly regulated at the end of the day that the autonomous driving by itself from the functionality will not make a difference. What I expect to happen is there will be several companies delivering these software stacks, maybe 2 in the US, 2 in China, and 1 in Europe, who knows? This will be it. Yeah? And from a product perspective, you will have to make sure that you have the right hardware technology, that you have the right sensors in place. Yeah? And this is about the question: are you going to have LiDAR or not? And integrate these sensors into your car in a way that they really work under conditions, that they can deal with pollution and all these things, and that you integrate them nicely into a design. Yeah, this sounds easy, but this is not an easy task, because the sensors always want to be in positions where you don't want them from a styling perspective. Right. So this will be our way forward. And for me, the real differentiation comes, what kind of user experience are you creating when you have autonomous driving? It's not the system by itself, but if your car drives by itself, what is the experience you can offer to your users? And this will be about the experience in the other seats. This will be about space, it will be about comfort, and it will be about your digital experience.